After the release of Morbius, fans of Marvel have been speculating about the possibility of a sequel and when Morbius 2 might hit theaters. The film gained significant attention online due to the proliferation of internet memes, sparking discussions about its potential impact on the decision to greenlight a sequel. The buzz generated by these memes even prompted a re-release of the film in theaters. The question remains, will the popularity of these memes sway producers into making Morbius 2? Today we are going to discuss everything we know about Morbius 2. Despite Sony's Morbius facing negative reviews and performing poorly at the box office, there remains a possibility for a sequel due to its ties to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and other characters within Sony's universe. The conclusion of Morbius hints at potential narrative paths for a sequel, including the return of key characters and potential conflicts between protagonist Michael and his resurrected friend who has turned into evil. While there has been speculation, there is currently no confirmed connection between Morbius and the character Madam Web. Any comparison between the two films is primarily based on their shared reception of negative reviews from critics. Despite facing criticism and underperforming at the box office, Sony's Morbius, which is connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, has seen updates regarding a potential sequel, despite initial doubts following Jared Leto's portrayal receiving a lukewarm reception. The film, released domestically on April 1, 2022, has been met with mixed reviews, with critics highlighting its outdated plot, disjointed storytelling, and visual effect issues. While audience reception on Rotten Tomatoes sits at 71%, the movie's domestic box office earnings of $73 million fall short of its $75 million production budget, labeling it a financial disappointment. However, Sony remains committed to expanding its Marvel properties, with Morbius introducing the living vampire to the big screen and serving as an origin story for Dr. Michael Morbius. The film closely follows the character's original Marvel Comics narrative, with post-credit scenes suggesting potential future storylines. Despite the initial setbacks and negative reviews, there have been no official updates ruling out the possibility of a sequel being added to Sony's upcoming Marvel movie slate. Since the release of the initial film, there have been no updates regarding the possibility of a sequel to Morbius. Despite attempts to capitalize on internet memes by re-releasing the movie, it failed to perform significantly better the second time around. However, the film found unexpected success on its release on Netflix. It quickly climbed the ranks of the streaming service's top 10 titles, indicating a positive reception among viewers. While this success may not match Sony's original box office expectations, there is now optimism that strong viewers' engagement and potential for a better storyline could persuade the studio to greenlight a sequel. Negative reviews and disappointing box office performance cast doubt on the possibility for a sequel for Morbius. The film's connection to the Marvel Cinematic Universe suggests potential for continuation. Despite the film's reception different from other successful superhero blockbusters, there remains optimism surrounding the potential for Morbius 2 due to the groundwork laid by its MCU connections. While there hasn't been any official confirmation regarding the greenlighting of Morbius 2, it's highly likely that the character of Michael Morbius will make future appearances due to his connections with other MCU and Sony-verse characters. Even if a sequel isn't in the works, he could still appear in other projects, such as the upcoming Craven the Hunter movie or a potential Sinister Six film. The conclusion of Morbius sets the stage for the return of several key characters in a potential sequel. Jared Leto will reprise his role as Michael Morbius, who is expected to undergo a significant transformation following the deaths of his father figure, Dr. Emil Nicholas, and childhood friend Milo. Additionally, Martine Bancroft is likely to return for Morbius 2, as her character's newfound vampire psychology hints at her revival in the final scene of the film. In the Morbius comics, Martine evolves into a villain, suggesting a potential storyline for the sequel. Following the events of Morbius, the potential for a sequel is rife with narrative possibilities. Characters like Tyrese Gibson and El Madrigal could return as law enforcement officers pursuing Morbius, now a fugitive. The post-credit scene also reintroduces Michael Keaton as the Vulture, who could either aid or oppose Morbius depending on the character's trajectory. Additionally, given the shared universe with Venom, a crossover with Tom Hardy's character remains a possibility. Morbius is a 2022 superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name. It was produced by Columbia Pictures in collaboration with Marvel, Arad Productions, and Matt Tolmach Productions, and distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. Serving as the third installment in Sony's Spider-Man universe, the film was directed by Daniel Espinosa and written by Matt Sazama and Burke Sharpless. The cast includes Jared Leto in the lead role of Dr. Michael Morbius. The story follows Michael and his surrogate brother Milo as they undergo a transformation into living vampires after attempting to cure themselves of a rare blood disease. In the United States and Canada, Morbius was initially anticipated to gross approximately $33 million from 4,268 theaters during its opening weekend, with some industry predictions reaching as high high as $40 to $50 million. However, in its second weekend, it experienced a significant drop, grossing $10.2 million and slipping to second place behind Sonic the Hedgehog 2, with a decline of 74%, marking the second worst drop for a superhero movie, surpassed only by Steel 1997. Subsequently, Morbius fell to 6th place in its third weekend with $4.7 million and to 9th place in its fourth weekend with $2.3 million. By its fifth weekend, the film earned $1.5 million, securing the 10th position, before dropping out of the top 10 in its sixth weekend. A re-release in theaters during its 10th weekend brought in over $300,000 from 1,037 screens over 3 days. Internationally, Morbius generated $44.9 million across 62 markets during its opening weekend, including $2.5 million from IMAX screens. Its second weekend earnings amounted to $15 million, marking a 62% decline. Subsequent weekends saw decreases of $6.7 million in the third weekend, $3.3 million in the fourth, and $1.6 million in the fifth. Due to its disappointing performance at the box office and negative critical reception, Morbius became a subject of ridicule and mockery on the internet, inspiring numerous memes. According to Polygon, the film turned into a collective internet hate watch, with fans creating and sharing memes that ironically praised its shortcomings. After its release, the hashtag Morbius sweep gained traction, humorously suggesting that Morbius was the most successful film both financially and critically. Outlandish claims circulated, including the film supposedly selling over 1 trillion tickets, earning over $1 billion, and receiving impossible approval ratings exceeding 203% from Rotten Tomatoes. One meme even falsely attributed a quote to Martin Scorsese, insinuating that he had changed his opinion about superhero films after watching Morbius. This fake quote was shared on Instagram by actor Tyrese Gibson, who later deleted it, reportedly believing it to be authentic. The conclusion of Morbius sets the stage for a clash between Morbius and Martin, who has been revived with vampire powers. This mirrors Morbius's heartbreaking decision to kill his childhood friend Milo after he succumbs to the vampire curse. In the comics, Martin transforms into a villain, seeking to persuade Morbius to embrace his monster side. The post-credit scenes of Morbius provide further insight into the potential plot of a sequel, with a vulture appearing in the Sonyverse after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. He offers Morbius an opportunity to join him in doing some good, hinting at a darker path for Morbius in the future. These scenes suggest that Sony may be moving forward with plans for the Sinister Six, a concept they have been considering since 2014. While some have speculated that Madam Web could serve as a sequel to Morbius 2, it's important to note that there are no direct connections between the plotlines of the two films beyond their association with Sony's Spider-Man universe. The notion of Madam Web being considered a sequel to Morbius primarily stems from the negative reception both movies have received. In fact, Madam Web currently holds a lower critical score on Rotten Tomatoes compared to Morbius, with the former receiving 14% and the latter surpassing it by a narrow margin with 15%. That's all about today's video. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to get notified of our upcoming videos. Let us know your opinions in the comment section below.